What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Gotta Get Back, the Samurai Jack and Review Show. My name is Kyle, your host. Welcome to Project Potter, guys. Welcome to episode 31, the official halfway point of Samurai Jack, which is weird. It feels like we're more than halfway, but there are 62 total episodes. This is 31, so this is officially the halfway point. It's a pretty good one. So we're going through season 3 here, guys. If you haven't seen the show before, recap, favorite moment, favorite character, score, trivia. Here we go, guys. Jumping it off, or kicking it off, I should say, or jumping it off, but that's not a real thing, so we're not going to do that. So we start in Egypt, and there's like a shot where it's like the sun is shining, and there's these tall pillars, these huge statues. But we get young Jack and like two like little Egyptian boys that he's running around with, and they're kind of like playing hooky or having a good time here. They run into the temple. There are these huge statues, and they're kind of running around, and they're playing like hide and go seek, and they're trying to stay away from all the adults there, like kids do. And eventually, they stumble upon this tomb, and Jack starts reading this tomb where he says, like, the minions of Set are imprisoned forever. He's like, there is one way to, or it says like, do not free them or something, or there's only one way to put them back, and that way is. And then he gets like one of the adults that comes over, and he's like, what are you kids doing? Shouldn't you be in school? He's like, we're your teachers. He's like, you should know better than to come over here, and they should be like, they know better and you should know better. And so that's kind of like the prelude to what's about to happen. And so what does Aku do? Of course, he goes back to that tomb in the future, and he says, open the tomb. They finally find the tomb, and he opens it up, and the minions of Set come out, and they are nasty, dude. They wreck all of Aku's minions, and it's really cool because he's like, ooh, like he's like, oh, like this is sweet. And yeah, literally like cuts them up like 8 times within a second. It's really, really cool. So there's 3 minions of Set there, like ones that look behind me here. There wasn't really a great picture I could get of them, but they look really, really cool. They have like these gold plates. They're kind of like half man, half creature. They all have different flaming objects there, but they're super, super fast and super strong. Aku is like, hey, because I freed you, you need to do me a favor, like you need to destroy the samurai that's coming towards this temple. And so the minions of Set like kind of comply by default. And so it's morning when that happens. It's now nighttime. Jack is slowly walking through, kind of wandering. He's cold. Obviously he's looking to find somewhere warm and just rest like Jack always does, but Aku is always trying to get him. And Samurai Jack walks in, and he's like, this place seems really familiar. And he's like, where do I know this place from? And then he stumbles upon the tomb, and he's like, the minions of Set. And then he gets punched like 5 times in the face. There's the flaming swords that come and immediately like just kick Jack's ass. He's got scars all over him. His shirt comes off again, because this is the shirtless Samurai Jack show apparently. And yeah, they're just going at him, and like it almost knocks out Jack. So he is like struggling. He puts both hands on a sword just to and he's still getting pushed back just to stop like one of their weapons there. So like they're super fast. He's running out of the way, but there's like 3 of them coming at him, and he can't believe how strong they are. And there's like a brief moment where Jack like hides or goes behind a pillar for a second, and he's like, I've never faced anything this strong. He's like, this is unbelievable. So the 3 minions of Set are kind of hunting him down. Again, they look super, super cool. There's a lot of like zoom in on their nostrils, and they can smell Jack. So he's waiting behind there, and he's like trying to remember the scriptures from the past. But he's like, oh, he's like, I need to go to the tomb so I can remember or like read the rest of it. So he goes over there, and like the minions of Set are on him, and he's like literally reading as it goes. And then like they're coming around, so he has to jump up and then like jump on the other side and then come back. He's like, oh, I have to get the Scarab. And the Scarab is broken into 3 pieces. So there's 3 gold pieces he needs to collect, and they're still on him. And there's an awesome shot where he's like kind of deflecting, and then he's thrown up in the air, and the 3 of them come up in slow-mo. It looks really, really cool. But Jack is running, and so now he's trying to find the riddle, but he's also being chased by the minions of Set. So it's really, really hard. It's like anyone who's played any video game will know, like if you're trying to get puzzle pieces and there's people chasing after you, you're going to run by the enemies like Resident Evil, really. So this is cool because Jack is like trying to find a way to hide and also get the pieces, but he knows that it's like almost impossible to hide from these guys. So he's running, but Jack can seemingly run forever sometimes. So he's looking for the first Scarab piece, and he finds it in like these old ruins. He's like, oh, perfect. And then the next clue is underneath that piece. And so he's like, okay, gets the first piece. And then he finds out that the next piece is going to be like, it says like the Forest of Reeds or something. And he's like, I don't even know what that means, but the minions are on him. So he's got to start running. And then eventually he gets pushed into a wall, and there's like all these markings on the wall. He's like, oh, Forest of Reeds. He's like, where the light shines. And then he goes through and he finds the second piece of the Scarab on the wall there. But the minions are right on his tail. And so he runs up, stabs his sword to the side, takes the piece. And then the minions are kind of coming after him. And one of them gets right up in there. So Jack puts the first two pieces together. He's like really proud of himself when he's running, but the minions are running after him. And so he's like running through, and he's scraping his sword on the top to like collapse the rocks, and by the side to collapse the rocks so that they don't follow him. So he thinks he's got at least a little bit of room to run there. But he's kind of running around. He's got to go find like the crown of the king or something. I forget what the third clue is, but kind of paraphrasing there. But basically he finds the piece at the end, and he goes to the top to grab it. One of the minions kind of knocks him down and knocks the piece down. So the two minions are going down to get it, and Jack like dives after it, but he throws his sword sheath at it to kind of move it, slides underneath the minion. It's really cool. But then they kind of keep fighting him, and they knock it out of his hand again. And then one of the minions takes it, and he throws it in there like he's about to eat it. And Jack is like, oh my God, no. That's the only way that he can stop the minions. And so he goes to grab it at the last second before he can eat it, and it like rolls out of the way. He puts the scarabs together. It turns into this gold beetle with his scarab, and then it flies off towards the moon, and like nothing happens for a second. And Jack is looking, and he's like, oh no, was this a mistake? And then the minions look back at him like they're going to attack, and Jack's like, oh, that was my whole plan. So if this doesn't work, like I'm screwed. But it does work because we get a huge gold beam that shines down there. And then there's this huge godlike creature. I don't know if this is Set or who this was, or if this is like Ra or someone. I'm not really familiar with the Egyptian gods, but it's really, really cool because it's like mostly a man, but it's like a bird face. I have to look it up because I know I've seen it before. I just don't know which god that is, but literally like floats down. It's like huge, larger than life figure. It looks really, really, really cool. So I'm really glad the way they designed it, and kind of settles down there, but does not go on the ground. Still levitates just above the ground, which is an important detail. And so the minions of Set are there, and their shoulders literally are bubbling. It's really like gross, but they're like ready to fight. And so one jumps at him and then just shoots like the laser eyes, just like Aku just shoots and disintegrates one of the minions. And so another minion jumps at him, does the same thing, just disintegrates. The third one is actually smart and tries to run away, but is immediately just disintegrated with the eyes as well. So Jack is kind of sitting there for a moment, and he jumps on top of one of the pillars, and there's a really great shot of like Jack standing there, and then the guy like looking at him, and he's like, thank you for destroying the minions of Set. He's like, by the way, would you happen to know where a time portal is? And then it just like slowly descends. He's like, I guess not. And so that's that. The gold light closes up. Jack kind of looks up at the moon, and he's kind of sad for a second, but then he realizes how cold he is, and he tries to make a fire. We don't see him light the fire, but we're just kind of slowly pan out to Aku talking to us, and he's like, Samurai, you thwart my plans again. But he's like, one day you will not. And he's like, and that time will come, or something like that. And that's how the episode ends. Okay, guys, for the magic sword, it's got to be the minions of Set. Even though Jack does end up defeating them and end up figuring out the puzzle, they're just so cool, and they're so lethal. And we saw what they did. I mean, 3 warriors against Jack is usually no problem, but he's not even a match for one of these things. And he doesn't even beat them in combat. The only way he can defeat them is by getting that gold scarab to have a god literally come down and disintegrate them. So it's clear that Jack has like met his match there. And again, good on him for not only avoiding and surviving, but going to get the pieces and figuring out the puzzle. But yeah, the minions of Set are so cool. Their design, their power, you know immediately like how quickly they destroy Aku's minions. It shows you how lethal they are and how dangerous. So really, really cool entrance, awesome design, and couldn't be happier with it. So they get my magic sword for this week. So the portal in time for me for this week, guys, it's got to be when Jack is like just finishing reading the puzzle, and then he's get thrown up into the air, and there's like he goes up, and then right after that, there's a slow-mo shot of the three of them like above him. That was just an awesome shot. The way it looked, it was so cool. It's like Jack is getting tossed, and they're so quickly on him that it's unreal how outmatched he is. So really cool, and that has got to be my favorite shot of this particular episode. First score for this one, guys. It's cool. I really like the puzzle solving aspect of it. I'm going to give it an 8.5. I just think it was good. The last few episodes have been really good. So season 3 started slow for me. I didn't really like it, but last episode I thought was one of the best ones of Samurai Jack. So go watch that one, episode 30. And then this one, I think it's not up there, but it's really good. It's like I could throw this on again anytime and watch it. It was fun to see him figure out the puzzle, and the god coming down was really cool. And like Jack fighting, but then realizing he's outmatched and using his wits to kind of win the battle. So yeah, the minions of Set were really cool. So I would love to see them again, or see them in a spin-off or something, or just, fan fiction usually is like how these will go, or on Reddit forums or whatever. So this was a cool episode, but yeah, kind of right in the middle of the pack. Okay, guys, so for Jack facts for this week, we do have a few here. So the first Jack fact is the Scarab is the symbol of Khepri, the Scarab god of dawn, and one of Ra's 3 forms. Typically, Khnum, the ram, is portrayed as the setting sun, while Ra himself is the noonday. Hopefully that means more to you than it does to me. And the Scarab the Scarab being divided into 3 pieces may also be a reference to this myth. Another Jack fact here have is Set is the god of the desert, who is often portrayed as one of the principal evils of Egyptian mythology. And the last one here, guys, this is the only episode where young Jack speaks, which I didn't think about, but that is a good point. This is the only episode where we get any line of dialogue from young Jack. It's not a lot, but he does say something in the beginning there. And those are the Jack facts for episode 31. All right, guys. Well, we did it. We made it halfway. So we're halfway home. It feels like a long way to go still, but 31 episodes down, 31 to go, guys. Thanks for checking out Project Potter. Thanks for checking out Gotta Get Back. I'm having a good time rewatching the show, so it's good to look at it with a critical eye, as most of these reviews that I'm doing. So go check out the other content on the channel. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell notification. And until next time, guys, gotta get back.